Okay, so you ever look at something super complex like maybe the autopilot system in a Tesla,
Mm-hmm.
and you just think, how in the world did someone actually design that?
Right,
But
yeah.
today's deep dive, it's all about the people behind those designs, the
Yeah.
ones who make those crazy engineering dreams a reality.
Mm-hmm.
Electromechanical drafters.
And to help us dive deep into this field, we're using insights from RoleCatcher.com.
Oh, cool. RoleCatcher.
Yeah, they're like, imagine a career GPS
Okay.
guiding you through all the twists and turns of different careers.
A career GPS. I like that. So no more just like wandering around job boards totally lost.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
no more vague descriptions. They have all these
Sure.
resources, especially like in-depth guides on tons of different career paths. And we're going to be focusing on their guide for, you guessed it, electromechanical drafters today.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's jump right in. So what do electromechanical drafters even like actually do?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems kind of self-explanatory, but is it really just like drafting?
Yeah, so it's definitely more than just drawing lines on paper.
Okay.
Imagine this. You've got an engineer's vision for like a brand new electric car, right?
Hmm.
Electromechanical drafters are the ones who turn that vision, that idea, into a real detailed blueprint.
Oh, well.
So they take those complex ideas and they turn them into technical drawings, and then manufacturers can actually use those drawings to build the thing.
So they're like the bridge between like the idea and the actual like physical product.
Exactly, yeah. RoleCatcher talks about how these drafters interpret specifications and requirements, and that really shows how much problem solving is involved in this job.
It's like they're like detectives, but for design, right?
Absolutely. Like, they're analyzing an engineer's, maybe rough sketches or pages of calculations,
Mm.
or sometimes even just like verbal descriptions, and they have to figure out how to turn all that into an actual design that works.
Yeah, yeah.
A functional design. It's like putting together this puzzle, making sure that all the electrical parts and the mechanical parts, they all fit together.
And speaking of that, RoleCatcher really emphasized that this isn't like a solo job.
Right.
It seems like collaboration is super important.
Yeah, for sure. Electromechanical drafters, they work hand in hand with engineers throughout that entire process.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They're constantly like going back and forth to make sure the details are right,
Ah.
troubleshooting any problems, just making sure that the final design actually works for the project.
So it's not enough to just be like a tech whiz.
No, not at all. You got to be a team player, that's for sure.
Yeah.
They need really strong communication skills because they're explaining their design choices, asking the right questions, and ultimately, they're the ones responsible for making sure everyone understands the engineer's vision, by creating those drawings.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot about bridging the gap
Yeah.
between engineering and actually making the thing. So everyone's on the same page.
Exactly.
Now, what does it even take to become an electromechanical drafter?
Okay, so
Like, what kind of education and skills do you need?
so usually you start with a high school diploma. That's like the baseline.
Okay.
But RoleCatcher, they say that any kind of vocational or technical drafting program
Mm-hmm.
that can give you a real leg up in terms of practical skills and knowledge.
So all those drafting classes back in high school, maybe those weren't a waste of time after all.
No, not at all. Those are a great foundation for this kind of work. But the real game changer, the big one, is being good with computers.
Cha.
You got to know CAD software.
CAD software, okay.
Computer-aided design, that's like essential, it's crucial in this field.
So CAD is king in the electromechanical drafting world.
Well, absolutely. Think of it as their digital canvas.
Okay.
That's how they create those super precise 2D and 3D drawings
Wow.
that are then used to actually manufacture whatever it is they're designing.
So what about the engineering side of it all? Do you have to be like a full-on engineer to be good at this?
That's a great question. And this is where it gets interesting. You don't necessarily need a formal engineering degree,
Okay.
but you got to understand how things work, both on the electrical side and the mechanical
So
side.
you have to think like an engineer even if you don't have the official title.
Exactly. Like, let's say you're working on the design for a robotic arm, like the kind they use in manufacturing.
Yeah.
You need to understand the electrical circuits that make that arm move.
Wow.
The sensors that tell it where things are, the mechanical parts that actually allow it to like lift and move stuff.
Right.
It's all got to work together.
Like you need that perfect blend, right?
Yeah.
Of those technical skills and the design like mindset.
Absolutely. And speaking of skills, RoleCatcher actually goes into a lot of detail about what it takes to really succeed in this field.
Oh,
One thing they emphasize is attention to detail. It's not just about making the drawings look pretty, you know?
right.
It's about getting them right, like, down to the millimeter.
That makes sense because those drawings are going to be used to build something in the real world, right? So
Yeah.
there's no room for error there.
Exactly. Even a tiny mistake, like in a measurement or a line that's just a little bit off,
Hmm.
that could cause huge problems when they're actually making the thing.
Right.
Wasted materials, delays, it could even be dangerous, you know?
So steady hand, maybe a
Uh,
whole pot of coffee.
Maybe, but it's even more than that. You got to be checking every little detail, like over and over again.
Right.
The size of each part, what it's made of, everything's got to be perfect on that final design.
And speaking of design, RoleCatcher also mentioned this idea of design thinking.
Mm.
What do they even mean by that?
So design thinking, it's about being able to think creatively,
Okay.
but also strategically about how everything works together. You know, a good electromechanical drafter, they can look at a design and like see it in 3D in their head,
Wow.
see how it's going to work. They can spot problems before they even happen
That's amazing.
and come up with clever solutions.
So it's more than just like following instructions.
Way more, yeah.
You actually need to be able to solve problems, think outside the box.
Exactly. You're not just drawing what someone tells you to draw.
Right.
You're a problem solver, a design innovator. You might be the one who finds a mistake in the engineer's original plan
Wow.
or figures out a better way to actually build something.
So you really need both, right?
Yeah,
That attention to detail, but also that bigger picture understanding.
exactly. And here's another one RoleCatcher mentions, might surprise you. Listening.
Listening?
Yeah, being a good listener.
But doesn't this job mostly involve, like, working on a computer? Why is listening so important?
Because remember how we talked about electromechanical drafters being part of a team?
Right, right.
They're always talking to engineers, project managers, even clients sometimes.
Mhm.
Being a good listener, it means you actually understand what everyone needs.
Oh, I see. So it's not just hearing what someone says, it's about getting what they really mean, right?
Exactly. Like understanding their perspective,
Yeah.
asking good questions to make sure you're both on the same page.
Yeah,
It's about building trust, too,
takes sense.
which is really important when you're working together on a project.
Yeah, so you got to be good at communication, but not just, like, through the drawings. Like, you got to actually talk to people, too.
Exactly, yeah. Interpersonal skills, super important.
Now, let's talk more about CAD software. RoleCatcher made it clear.
Uh-huh.
If you want to work in this field, you have to know CAD.
Oh, yeah. It's essential.
It's like the key to getting your foot in the door, right?
Absolutely. And it's not just one program you need to know.
Really?
AutoCAD, SolidWorks, Revit, there's a bunch of them.
Wow.
Depends on what industry you're in, what kind of projects you're working on.
So you got to be willing to, like, learn new software all the time. Because
Sure.
technology is always changing, right?
Exactly. You got to be adaptable. And it's not enough to just know the buttons and menus.
Yeah, you got to know how to use it to actually design something, right?
Exactly. You got to know how to use it to make those clear, detailed technical drawings.
It's like learning a whole new language, the language of digital design.
Precisely. But here's the thing. CAD is important, but it's not the only thing, you know?
Okay, so what else is there?
RoleCatcher. They're saying other technical skills are becoming more and more important, like being able to analyze data.
Data.
Yeah, and use simulation software.
Okay, this seems pretty advanced.
It is, yeah.
Why are those skills so important for electromechanical drafters now?
Because as technology gets better, what people expect from you in this field, that gets tougher too, you know?
Oh, I see.
It's not just about making the drawings anymore. They want you to be able to look at the data, run simulations,
Oh, wow.
even use 3D printers to make prototypes.
So electromechanical drafters are getting more involved in the whole
It's
process.
exactly like testing and refining designs.
Yeah.
It's not just about that initial drawing phase.
Right.
It's way more than that now.
So it's a lot more hands-on.
It is much more dynamic.
And probably more exciting, too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially if you're someone who likes to be challenged, you know?
Yeah.
Likes to innovate.
So it sounds like it's a career that's, like, changing all the time with technology,
Yeah.
which makes me think, like, what's the future for this job? Is it going to be around for a while?
Yeah, that's a good question. And RoleCatcher, they actually talk about that directly.
Okay.
They say that even with all the automation, all the AI stuff, electromechanical drafters, they're still going to have jobs.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
But what about the work itself? Is it, like, something you could see yourself doing every day.
Yeah.
It's not just staring at a computer screen all day, right?
No, no, definitely not. Remember, it's this cool mix of being really precise, really technical, but then also being creative, solving problems.
Right.
Electromechanical drafters, they're bringing ideas to life, you know?
Yeah.
They're working with all these talented engineers, making stuff that actually has an impact on the world.
Yeah, that does sound pretty fulfilling, honestly. But, like, practically speaking, what about the money?
Right.
Can you actually make a living as an electromechanical drafter?
So this is interesting. The RoleCatcher guide, they didn't have exact numbers for salaries,
Okay.
but they use phrases like competitive compensation and uh, strong potential for advancement, you know?
So you're saying, like, reading between the lines, it seems like you can earn a good living?
Yeah, exactly. Especially, if you're willing to put in the work, keep learning, move up that career ladder.
Right, right. And like we were talking about before, there are those, like, specialty areas, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So if you become, like, the expert in robotics or renewable energy or whatever,
Yeah,
you're even more valuable.
exactly. The more specialized you get, the more you can ask for.
That makes sense. So you've got, like, that short-term earning potential, but also the long-term.
Exactly.
That's a pretty good deal for anyone thinking about this as a career.
It is. And don't forget about the other rewards.
What do you mean?
The stuff you can't really put a price tag on, you know?
Okay, yeah.
Like actually seeing your designs become real things.
Yeah.
Knowing that you're a part of building the future, that's pretty cool.
It's more than just a job then. It's like a
Yeah.
whole career where you can make a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, before we wrap up our deep dive here, I want to go back to something RoleCatcher mentioned, something about AI, actually.
Oh, right.
But not just, like, how AI is changing jobs, but how you can actually use AI to help you find a job.
Yeah, it's like flipping the script, right?
Yep.
Using technology to your advantage.
Exactly. It's almost like having, like, a secret weapon for job hunting.
Totally. And that's one of the things that makes RoleCatcher different, you know?
Oh.
They're not just talking about AI, they're giving you the tools to actually use it.
Okay, so how do those tools work?
So one of the coolest things is this resume analysis tool they have.
Okay.
You upload your resume, right?
Mm-hmm.
You put in the job description of the job you want. And their AI, it compares them.
Wow.
It tells you what parts of your resume you need to make stronger.
So instead of just sending out the same resume to, like, a million places,
Right.
you can make it perfect for each job.
Exactly. So you stand out, recruiters, those applicant tracking systems, they'll actually see your resume.
So it takes out the guesswork.
Yeah, exactly. You're not just hoping for the best anymore.
Right.
Oh, and that's not all.
There's more.
They even have AI-powered interview practice.
What?
You record yourself answering interview questions,
Wow.
and the AI will tell you how you're doing.
Wow, that's wild. What is it, like, analyze?
Like how clearly you're speaking, are you getting your point across?
Mm-hmm.
Even things like, your body language.
It's like having a personal coach, but, like, 24/7.
Right. Which is super helpful these days. Everyone's competing for jobs.
Yeah.
Oh, and I almost forgot. A lot of these features, they're totally free.
Really?
Yeah, so anyone can use them.
That's amazing. Okay, so it sounds like if you're at all interested in electromechanical drafting, or really any career,
Yeah.
you got to check out RoleCatcher.
For sure. It's like a goldmine of information and tools.
Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into the world of electromechanical drafting.
It's been fun.
We talked about the skills you need, the challenges you might face, what you can achieve, even the tools that can help you land your dream job.
Hopefully everyone listening learned something new about this career.
Absolutely. So if you're the kind of person who loves engineering and design and tech, and you want a job that's, actually interesting,
Yeah.
electromechanical drafting could be perfect for you. And don't forget, check out RoleCatcher.com.
Definitely.
Their insights can seriously help you figure out your next career move, no matter where you are in your life right now.
Until next time.
Keep those questions coming, folks. And never be afraid to explore. You never know what amazing career you might discover.